in terms of the whole film, the films that you select for Midnight Madness, do you have like certain like moods that you want to create when you end up selecting the 10? Is there ever in mind something that you want to get a certain kind of grouping, or is it really just these are the 10 best that I've got?
Yeah, it's kind of at the end of the day, this is the hand that I've been dealt,
Right,
and I try and make it international.
right,
But if the market only yields this, that's what I got. I mean, like I'll look back on some years and I'm like, ooh, that's an American heavy year.
right.
Nothing against America, but I just feel that it's really kind of the mandate that I have is to try and show as much international as I can. But if it's not there, I mean, it's interesting if you see like Japan used to do a lot of really interesting horror films, and then that just kind of peaked and played out. So, I mean, someone was complaining that it's like, you haven't shown a martial arts film in like 4 years. I'm like, well, I showed The Raid. It's like, yeah, that was 4 years ago. I'm like, but if I don't see good martial arts films,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to take a film which is just so like 50% good and the rest of
Right.
it's crap. So there's no quota, okay, to have X amount of international films, and then also there's the miscomprehension that Midnight Madness is all about horror.
Right.
So I try and mix it up as much as I can because I know not everyone is into horror. I love when I do something like Ong Bak.
Right.
And like totally blow people's minds with this martial arts film from Thailand, and no one's ever heard of this guy. And oh my God, he just kicked that guy in the head while flipping the air. So I try and mix it up, and then when I'm actually doing the final programming, I try and create a bit of a balance where it's like, okay, here's an action film, here's a really dark horror film, okay, here's a comedy, like kind of have a kind of ebb and flow. That's why like What We Do in the Shadows, by the last Friday, it is perfect because like, whoa, this is bloody, this is funny, this is so refreshing, and it's going to be kind of a nice kind of palate cleanser to kind of
Right.
and hit a new peak on.
Right. Well, then, otherwise, do you feel like Midnight Madness has changed since the first year you went? Obviously things evolve, but do you think there's something you could pinpoint that has changed about it?
Well, when Midnight Madness first started, it was a fringe thing,
Right.
and it was much more transgressive, much more subversive, much more raw and underground. But since then, genre films and genre conventions and geekdom and nerddom has really kind of mainstreamed. And I'm curious to see how that's going to go well, if that's mainstream, what's going to be the alternative?
Right.
So to see films that are getting wide releases or just getting exposure that in the past you would have had to hunt for. I mean, it's all because of technology and the access to new kind of distribution venues. So the series has changed in that it's been more publicly embraced, I suppose.
Right.
It's also grown, and there's a respect for what goes on in the Ryerson, in the Uptown, from the Bloor, like from the Bloor to the Uptown to the Ryerson.
Right.
I'm curious to see where it goes. But I still try it at the end of the day to challenge people with some of the films that I pick. And it's a mix. I mean, there's some stuff which is like, okay, 13-year-old boy rescuing the president, that's pretty much, there you go. You got it. But then there's going to be a film like It Follows, okay? Or then there's going to be a film like Cub from Belgium, which is like, okay, on the surface it's this, but then there's some other stuff going on. So hopefully if I can continue to give them this mixed bag, this kind of like international potpourri of oddities, it'll continue to be successful. And at the end of the day, like I said, I just want to provide a really good, fun time, and also for people to remember that it's entertainment. We're not here. It's not a revival tent. We're not trying to get you to have an epiphany. You know what? Sit back, forget your problems of the day, laugh and scream and howl with everyone else at midnight, and it's going to be so cathartic.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you.